tell you, this black water tank, I mean, it fits like a glove up here. This is a 2020 2500 series, which means it's a 3/4 ton Mercedes-Benz cargo van with a 145-inch wheelbase. This tank is perfect. I mean, lengthwise and widthwise, it just fits perfectly up here. This is what I was talking about earlier. This 2x4 here that I've got cut about the same length as the tank is wide. The tank is 12 inches wide, and you see if I tighten this up, this bracket up until it hits the side of the van here, it's not gonna, it won't push this tank up tight against my rubber I got up here. And the rubber protects the tank all the way around from being scratched to the point where it wears a hole in the tank when you're going down the road. Because when you're going down the road, it's kind of like an earthquake. Everything moves, everything rattles, everything shifts. So not only will this rubber keep the metal of the van from eventually wearing a hole in my tank, but it also it grabs onto the tank, helps grab onto the tank a lot better, so it doesn't move in any direction. The 2x4 will help grab the bottom, so I'm just really happy about this tank. I'm gonna have to give you the dimensions of this tank. In case anybody wants to order. It's a 16-gallon tank, same as the gray water tank. They're exact same tank. They're both 16 gallons, so that'll be 32 gallons total of black water and gray water combined, and my freshwater tank will be a 33 gallon. So when my 33 gallon freshwater tank is just about empty, I know it's time to dump my black water tank and gray water tank. You can kind of see why I wanted the tank to run perpendicular to the length of the van, because my discharge outlet for my tank, I'm gonna have to put probably a 90-degree coupler of some type on it, so I don't have to crawl under here every time and hook something on here so I can dump my tank. But we'll figure that out later. So looking good, fits like a glove. I knew it would because I took a lot of measurements under the van. Then when I got the tank, I actually brought the tank under here, placed the tank by hand about where I wanted it, pushed it up, made sure it fit. And then of course you got to make sure none of these down rods that are holding the carrier beam are rubbing on anything else. Like this is the fuel tank right here, so you don't want to make sure none of them are rubbing on the fuel tank. You don't want to rub a hole in the fuel tank or the waste tank or the gray water tank, neither one. So far looking good. Just gotta snug it up, get it positioned just right, and then I can lay out my center my holes for my my toilet and the vent pipe. And we'll be back later, show you how that goes. So here's the tank that I'm going to use as my gray water tank. It's identical to the black water tank I just installed, for the second time to lay out the holes I have to drill in it for the toilet and the vent. It's a 16-gallon tank. It's 12 inches wide. It has an outlet that is 3 7/8 outside diameter and approximately 3.5 inch inside diameter, which means a 3-inch PVC pipe would fit up in there, and then you could connect your open and close valve when you want to dump it. But again, it's 12 inches wide. At this end, it's 7 3/4 deep. At the other end, it's 7 1/4 inch deep. That's so if you've got this mounted flush with the bottom of your van underneath, this part should be level, assuming your van's sitting on a level area, and that little pitch in the bottom will allow when you dump this to all flow out in that direction. The length of the tank is 44.5 inches. The outlet drain is it's 3 3/8 inches long, and yeah, that's it. 16 gallons. I ordered off of Amazon. It fits under my Sprinter van absolutely perfectly. Doesn't mean it'll fit under yours perfectly. So before you order a tank, crawl up under there, measure twice, measure 3 times, measure 5 times. But make sure that you're ordering a tank that will fit under your particular van, because not all the vans are the same, not all the tanks are the same. Just because it says it fits a Sprinter van, it may or may not. It probably will, but I wouldn't dare order anything that I didn't know fit for sure. So get the dimensions of the pocket you want to place your tank in by crawling up underneath your van, and then before you order, make sure the dimensions of the product you want to order is listed, and it will indeed fit up underneath your van, so you don't have to go to the trouble of returning it. I hate returning things. It just delays the build, so you don't want to do that. So this side had to be different, of course, because of the door pocket. The side door pocket is kind of in my way, and this wasn't on the Blackwater side that we just did. So my tank, of course, is wider than this. This is about 6 inches wide. My tank is 12 inches wide, so my tank won't rest up against the same members on this side that it did on the Blackwater side. So it's basically, this is the lowest hanging spot that'll fit on, and I can't put it up against here because these bolts will dig into the top of my tank. So I'm gonna have to rest, the side of the tank will be right here. The top of the tank will rest on this. I got a little rubber strip that I'll put up here, just like I did on the other side, and it'll rest on that. This member here was 1 inch higher than this member here. So of course you want your tank side to side and end to end to be level with the van, in relation to the van. So I took some 1 inch material. It's actually a 3/4 inch 1x and then a 1/4 inch plywood, and screwed them together. So I got 1 inch material and then my 1/2 inch of rubber padding. So the 1 inch of wood material is bolted onto this structural member of the van with plus nuts or rivet nuts and 1/4 by 20 flathead screws that are countersunk into this wood. So the head of the screws is flush with this wood. So once I put the 1/2 inch rubber here, it'll be the same distance from the bottom of the van as this side is. So a little different on here. So the whole, this tank will hang down 3.5 inches lower. The gray water tank will hang down 3.5 inches lower than a Blackwater tank. Not what I wanted, but you can still see it won't be the lowest component. As you can see, the drive shaft and rear differential will be much lower, so won't be the lowest component of the van, and that's what I want. So I got my black water tank back out. The big hole is the toilet drain. The small hole is the vent hole. And what I did while my tank was installed, I dropped a plumb bob down the center of both the holes, and I got the center mark for both holes. And here you see I cut the holes right there, and I've got the waste piece from the bigger hole, and this fits in the groove in the grommet really nicely. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get no problem getting that in, getting that sealed. It's a little tight. It's a little tight on this one. The smaller one for the vent has a smaller groove than the bigger grommet. So try to get those down in there. I think I'll put the small one in first since it's going to be tight. That way I can reach down here and feel all around to make sure it's sealed properly.